Gosh, what other stuff that I wanted to talk about? Did I wanted to talk about? Bad grammar, that would be one. This is a very flat landscape. And now I was tempted to rant about, like, flat earthers, which I don't know if anyone wants to hear about that. Just because I saw on Twitter Moments that Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Pack, has come out as a flat earther. He believes the Earth is flat because he hasn't seen any evidence to suggest otherwise that he thinks might not be a conspiracy theory, I guess. I don't know exactly what the... Oh, sorry, I like this dialogue here, just... Investigate the... It's amazing! Amazing! That's not particularly amazing dialogue, I like his frantic nerdiness. And this time the Chamber of Secrets does open. Or just dissolves. Yeah, I guess the whole argument is NASA is feeding everyone this lie that the Earth is round for some reason, which cannot be explained, and the Earth is actually flat because it looks flat. Because, you know, if you take a circle and you zoom in on one side of the circle a billion times, it's not going to look like a straight line or anything. And if you take into consideration, like, even if you ignore all the stuff that NASA says, what explanation do you have for the Earth being flat when the moon is round and the sun is round and everything else in the sky is round? What makes Earth so special? Everything has a center of gravity, and it's called a center of gravity because it has to be in the center of something. That's why everything is a sphere. Everything gets less gravitational as you go out, and there's that threshold where it's just a circle, or a sphere. Not to mention, if you're in an airplane, you can actually see the curvature of the Earth, because you're high enough up. Come on, Shaquille O'Neal, you are or were a basketball player, you should be tall enough to see these things. I have no idea how tall he is, for the record. And then Chad just leaves. And Midna says, I wonder if I put him off? For no reason. I guess this is, like... Maybe that's an establishing line that Midna is becoming a little bit more sympathetic towards light world peeps. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird line. So we got our magical cannon here that... I was about to say Cannondorf. That would be a great monster to have in a future Zelda. Forget Blight Ganon, let's have Cannondorf. The best. We have a cannon that looks vaguely like a Cataquack. I don't know why that's the first thing that I came up with. I was gonna say Birdo, maybe, but... The snout is Birdo, but then it has these hands that look like something else. Maybe Cubert. Cubert might be a little bit of a better explanation. Better description words. Asparagus. Expedition. What in tarnation? Alright. We do not have enough money for this cannon to be fixed by this guy here, but might as well have him look at it anyway. There's something I'd like to show off with this cannon later. Oh, it's kind of retro, huh? That means it's going to be creating a few Metroid Prime and Donkey Kong Country games soon. Yeah, we need a little bit more money than Link currently has. Just 300 rupees, you know, the absolute maximum of the first wallet. But that won't be too much of a problem, because right up here is a very long cave that is... It has a lot of stuff in it, and we're going to be in there for a while. It's not the very long cave from Yoshi's Island, but it's long enough. And it doesn't auto-scroll, so that's good. Oh, At this moment, I have not actually recorded most of the... or I haven't recorded all of the game. I haven't recorded myself getting 60 Poes, and I think there's still a few heart containers that I have left to get. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to get all the Poes. Because getting 20 of them gives you a prize. Specifically a heart container, and or a heart piece, and I want to get all the heart pieces. But I don't know if I really care about getting all the Poes or not. It probably wouldn't be too much trouble to get all of them because there are only 60 of them as opposed to the 100 Skulltulas in Ocarina of Time, and they're all hidden in very specific locations, and you don't know whether you have to find them in the daytime or the nighttime, or, like, they can be just on a random ledge on the ceiling in a bathroom in Italy. Whatever. Yeah, the Skulltulas are awful in Ocarina, and there are a lot of them. But this game only has 60 Poes, and they're usually pretty much out in the open. The only problem is that you have to see them at night. And the world of this game is big enough. Yeah, it's so dark here. I try to light up whatever lights that I can, but it's still going to be pretty dark. Yeah, it's a big enough world that finding 60 Poes is still, like, there is still going to be, there's just a lot of space between each one, and the game never tells you which ones you have or haven't gotten. So, and the reward for getting them all isn't really worth it. It's the same kind of reward that you get from getting 100 Skulltulas, which, again, is not really worth it. But we'll see. Like, if I feel like going to the extra effort to get them all, then I will, but if I don't, then I won't. I'm also not going to go after the Hylian Loach, which, if anyone knows what that is, it's a super duper secret hidden fish that you can catch, and it's a huge struggle to get this fish in the fishing hole that's next to whatever the top of the river is called in Lake Hylia, like the boat side caboodle. Yeah, there's a very particular way to get it to show up, and also a very particular lure or couple of lures that you have to use to catch it, and then actually catching it is a real big struggle. But I would definitely recommend to anyone who has any interest at all in catching the Hylian Loach in this game to go ahead and try to do it and look up how to do it, because there's no way that I can think of that you just figure this out on your own. But it was an adventure for me, and I think it's cool to have this one little piece of the game that it never tells you that you have to do it. It doesn't even tell you that it exists, but you still can do it if you want to, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's an adventure that you have to actively seek out, and it's cool. There are Poes in here too. Might have to do some editing here because I remember at some point in this cave I fell into a cliff and died, and well, I didn't die, but I reset to the beginning of the cave and had to run through it all again. It didn't take very long to run through it all again, but still, it was just me being a dumb butt. So much darkness. For the record, Link just ran over a small bridge there. It helps to be able to see because there are holes in these darker portions. You could use the lantern. I just don't, because I don't like wasting the lantern oil. Which I think I said at one point in time that you never actually have to refill, but I did have to refill it, so... Oh, is there really no light in this room? Come on. Okay, well, hope you like being blind, I guess. Although that reminds me, come to think of it, I saw this guy on YouTube who, I can't remember his name, it was a sort of normal name like Tommy or something. He's a guy who spends all his time with his eyes closed because he is blind, and he says he watches YouTubers, which, you know, you can see the irony of that wording, but Okay, finally we can see again. But yeah, he has made a number of videos just talking about what it's like to be blind and what it is like to be him, and just his general experiences, and describing stuff like not being able to understand color because he's never seen color. People always talk about it like, you know, red is warm and blue is cool, and, you know, blue is the color of the sky and also the ocean and also ice, and to a blind person that makes no sense. Like, how can you describe one sense with another sense if you don't know what that other sense is? And he said something about, like, it's weird that the sky is the same color as ice, which I don't really think about, but yeah, that is pretty weird. Because it's just air, and then it's also frozen water. It's an entirely different feeling. So it makes me appreciate my senses more, I guess, to hear him talk about that stuff. But he talks about it so jovially. He's like the happiest guy on the face of the planet. And he rarely opens his eyes, but when he does, they're like pools of water almost, because they're so light. I didn't actually know that blind people didn't have visible pupils like that, but I guess, I mean, I just kind of thought that Toph in Avatar The Last Airbender was a bit of an exaggeration, but I guess not. Oh, there's where I fall into the hole. Good job. Alright, I guess this is about close enough to where we were. I never go into that cave on the right for some reason. I can't remember what was in it, if anything. It might have just been, like, a small treasure chest. I don't know, but The Last Airbender, just thinking about that now, that's probably the last show that I've actually bothered to watch at length. I've said before that I'm not really a person who watches TV very much, or at all. And that used to not be true as much. I still didn't watch TV, but I watched certain shows like Futurama, Daria, let's see, Malcolm in the Middle, because I was able to binge watch them, because my brother had a whole lot of them downloaded on his computer. I guess from DVDs and things, or maybe illegally, I don't know. But still, he had access to a lot of them in one way or another, and so if I ever watched any of those shows, I would usually watch several episodes at once, because I could, and I didn't feel like there was really any other way to watch them. Well, whenever I watch The Last Airbender, I think the way that I watched that one was very familiar to me, and that's kind of the way that the reason that I actually went through with watching it, besides just it being a good show. But, my other brother's place... Yeah, that's gonna get confusing real fast. Okay, but I remember there was a point when we went over there for, I guess, was it Christmas? Maybe Thanksgiving? Some kind of family occasion. And, he had this big basement, which had a great setup where there was a big projector to watch movies and shows on, and so it was also very cozy down there. There were a lot of blankets, and while I was there, I wasn't at home, obviously, so I didn't have to think of, or I wasn't able to think, I guess, about coding games or drawing new things in a pixel program or anything like that. I just kind of, you know, had to just pass time however I could while I was there, because I wasn't doing my normal routinely stuff. So that was the perfect time for me to binge watch a show that I was kind of interested in. I would just stay there in that dark basement with all these big cozy covers and pillows and watch them all on this big screen, and it was friggin' awesome. And then, for one reason or another, I just kind of lost steam. I think that maybe, I don't know, I want to say that we left, obviously, because we were on a trip and we weren't going to stay at my brother's place forever. We left, and I didn't really want to watch any more Avatar Airbender episodes until I came back, but then we didn't end up coming back because he found a new place to live, and then I tried watching another episode some other time and just lost momentum because maybe it wasn't that great of an episode. It was some episode where they found these people in the sky, and there was a sky city. Not the city in the sky in this game, but I don't know. I lost the drive to watch the rest, and I still don't think that I probably actually will, come to think of it. Because even though I'm sure it's good, it just won't be the same, and that will make me not like it as much, and I'd rather just be a doofus who watches Let's Plays on YouTube. And part of it could be that I don't like having too much stimuli on things that I watch, or maybe not even necessarily watch. I like having things on in the background a lot. Like with Let's Plays, yes, you get more information by watching it, but usually the ones that I watch, it doesn't really matter if you see what's on the screen or not. You just kind of hear what the person's saying. And then occasionally something will happen that's relevant to what's on screen. Or words. Oh, look at all these bats. So many bats. I've never been in a cave that has bats, although come to think of it, I have been in very few caves. I have been in one cave where a concert was held, and that was cool. It was I want to say it was country. I don't know if it was a country concert or not, but I think it was. And, that's one of the only 2 caves, I think, that I can remember ever being in. One of them was some class trip, I think. We went to some cave, but not, like, as a big spelunking thing. It was some specifically cave for touring. I don't think I've ever actually been in a cave that was just a cave and nothing else. And I don't think I would like that very much. I like the idea of adventure, but not the dangers of it. And another postal bites the dust, or bites the bust. Actually, Wolf-Link bit the bust of the Poe. But, yeah, the concert was cool with the country singing. I know a lot of people don't really care for country, and I'm not really a fan of it myself. The main reason I don't like it, I think, is just because it's depressing. I think the sound is fine, but I can't really think of any songs that are country that are not depressing, unless bluegrass counts. I don't know if bluegrass is country or not. Actually, it might have been a bluegrass concert. There might have been some sadder songs, but I don't remember any. Most of them were more upbeat.